Margaret Concolder. I returned to the SAG after the Drumhouse Hotel in Tipperary. On Monday, the High Court delivered a judgment that quashed the Section 5 planning exemption granted for the Drumhouse Hotel. The ruling confirms what local communities have been saying for over a year. There is no legal or planning basis for an iPad centre at this site. The certificate underpinning this arrangement should never have been issued. Yet despite this, your government teacher continues to stand over a multi-million euro contract with Oireachtas Limited, a contract worth up 8.5 million a year and operating a facility operating outside the law. Clearly, this is not simply a legal failure. It has been a social, economic, financial disaster for Dundrum and South Tipperary, and serious questions and moral questions for your government as to how you can engage with contractors who do not have legal and do not have filed accounts and are not compliant with our laws. The High Court has raised definitively ruled definitively that Dundrum House Hotel is non-compliant. We know that more than 20 IPAS contracts have already been terminated this year for non-compliance with planning, building or fire regulations. Why is Dundrum House Hotel allowed to operate continually with this, when they are in this category? Continuing to fund this contract undermines the integrity of your government decision-making and shows absolute disregard for the authority of the courts and for this country's planning laws. Taoiseach, we have already seen the loss of 48 jobs here when Dundrum House Hotel closed its doors, the collapse of a vital tourism and leisure hub that sustained golf, hospitality and community life and brought many people there for tourism and indeed for cultural events as well. And Taoiseach, let's not forget, when the people there stood up against this and stood up for their rights, they were met with a tyranny of force by Garda Síochána, Rice Squad, Canine Squad, God knows what. So now, Taoiseach, I have three questions for you. Will you, your government, immediately revoke the iPad contract for Dundrum House Hotel in light of the High Court ruling? Will you confirm that no further taxpayers' money will be paid under the contract that has no legal foundation whatsoever? Will you acknowledge the grave wrong done to the people of Dundrum village and community who have been vindicated by the courts and commit to restoring this amenity to its rightful role in supporting rural development and commit to a change in how these decisions are made by your government with these contracts? And finally, Taoiseach, will you commit to a full review of how the contract was awarded, given serious concerns about planning compliance, transparency and suitability of Oireachtas Limited? High Court evidence shows the companies associated with Dundrum House Hotel haven't been tax compliant for 6 years. Just imagine, any other citizen wouldn't operate that company or business. So what kind of an example are we showing? Why was the company deemed suitable for state contracts with up to 8.5 million annually, when all this was known and pointed out by the people and us public reps as well?
Thank you, Deputy McGrath. Taoiseach.
First of all, I thank the Deputy for raising what is an important issue, and we fully acknowledge that. My understanding is that Dundrum House Hotel had not been operating as a hotel since 2015. So I don't think it ceased being a hotel because of the decision in 2022 to use Dundrum House for, I think, initially the beneficiaries of temporary protection for following the war in Ukraine. It's my understanding was the first initial use of Dundrum House for Ukrainians fleeing the Ukrainian war. But you might clarify that for me. I understood that it hadn't been in use as a hotel since 2015, which would be about 7 years earlier than it being used. It's okay. And but the adjacent golf club, I think, and catering facilities are still being used by the public and the community since that time. No, you're correct. The Department of Justice did enter a contract in April 2025 with a company called Oireachtas Limited to provide international protection accommodation at Dundrum House. That followed a detailed appraisal process and community engagement that had been active since summer 2024. My understanding is that it has a contracted maximum capacity of over 200, but it's about 190 people are accommodated there at the moment. And part of that appraisal process for a new contract included a review of the property's services and compliance, and this was done in conjunction with the local authority in the case of this contract, and a Section 5 was granted by the local authority. That's my understanding of what happened. Oireachtas Limited is engaged with Tipperary County Council, has given a commitment to regularise any outstanding planning matters at the wider site. My understanding also is that there are two separate legal matters ongoing relating to the property, neither of which involved the Department of Justice directly or the government directly. There was a judicial review into the planning exemption granted by Tipperary County Council to Dundrum House by the local heritage group, and the owners decided not to continue to defend the proceedings, is my understanding there. So then the accommodation provider has lodged their own Section 5 to Tipperary County Council in October of this year, which was referred to on Commission Plenála by the local authority for decision, as the local authority said that they were unable to make a decision on the matter. And the case number, as you know it, and it's due to be decided by the 13th of the 3rd next year. That's March of next year, according to plenála.ie website. And then there's another dispute which I don't want to comment on, which is not really relevant to me in terms of ownership and so on like that. What the Department is saying is that based on the fact that the contract and leases were and still are in place, IPAS are continuing to use the property. But if any action should be required as a result of any court proceedings, these will be addressed by officials as appropriate.
Deputy McGrath.
You're not accurate. I mean, it was closed, the hotel, but the Crowe family operated a successful and wonderful business there. I was at numerous weddings and many, many other events there. The golf, the pro shop, and indeed the venue was operating as a restaurant and everything else. So it was effectively running while the hotel was damaged by a fire. So now the problem is, Taoiseach, you don't seem to get the issue. You're dealing here with rogue contractors. We pointed out to the integration team, and so did Deputy Murphy myself pointed out to the Minister, that it was outside the law, and there was the Section 5 was an error that the Council gave the Section 5. They've conceded that. Now they're going back for another Section 5, which the Council have kicked to Board Plenála. It's just a game of Russian roulette. Money for fat cats. The real problem is you're paying too much per person that's being housed by IPAS. And Taoiseach, you're also wrong in saying that the Department of Justice gave the contract. No, it was Minister Gorman and his department at the time that ran amok and invited everyone from Timbuktu to Ireland. Come and you have it at your own front door in 30 days or something. I said, this is crazy. And the Taoiseach deserves better here, and deserves a better reply from you. And I want you to instruct Minister Callanan to meet Deputy Murphy and myself. We've been trying to meet him to look at this situation urgently.
Could I say, first of all, Deputy, you're correct. It was the Department of Children, but government overall, but the Department of Children handled migration. This government has decided to move migration matters and asylum-seeking issues, particularly to the Department of Justice, and that is that is happening, and that's why I mentioned justice in that context. They are now dealing with this, and Minister Callanan has no issue meeting with you or other deputies. All of the deputies, there's no issue there in terms of that. I think we need to be careful with our language, Deputy. I don't think we can be calling people rogue contractors in the House. I think that's unfair to people. It can create all sorts of...
Thank you.
I know, but it's a term that I think could cause difficulties for people outside of the House, and we just need to be careful about that. Also, I just want to pick up on a comment. I don't think the Gardaí do not do tyranny. Okay, the Gardaí keep the peace and uphold the law. And I think we're very grateful. I was in Templemore last week with Minister Callahan. It was wonderful to see so many new Gardaí coming out enthusiastically, and 220 new Gardaí going into Templemore, which shows the pace and momentum behind Garda recruitment. So we should keep affirming the Gardaí and all that they do. But I will ask the Minister to meet with you, Deputy, and your colleagues.
We now move on.